Right, so now we are here looking at chapter 12, where we're going to look at the onboarding, we're going to look at the socialization, we're going to look at the turnover, and then we are going to look at the downsizing. The downsizing, right? So we said here, what is onboarding? You need to know what is onboarding. Onboarding, we said, is the process of filling a new hire, work related job document. Onboarding, that means they take through the candidate that they have hired into the organization, inside the organization. That means now they give you the identification card. They provide you with the key of your office, providing with the key of the office that you are going to work with, that you are going to use, and then they provide you with a workspace, and then that is where they are going now to show you colleagues that you are going to work with, and then show you who are you going to report to in the organization, and then that is where they are going to familiarize yourself as a new candidate, in the organization, and you are going to learn with the company policy and benefits. This is the definition of onboarding. Right, so, and we set here with the socialization. We said what is socialization? Socialization is the process, is the short term or long term process, formal or informal process of activities that need a new higher attitude. Attitude, behavior, knowledge, in order to participate in the organization and learn the culture of the organization. That is where the process of a short-term, long-term, formal, informal activities that need a new hire to have the attitude, behavior, knowledge in order for a candidate to become a part of that organization and then learn more about the culture of the organization. Right. So that is socialization. And then we have different kinds of socialization. Three types of socialization. Three types of socialization. Right. We said we have anticipatory socialization, and then number two, what we have, encounter socialization, and then number three, we said we have the settling in socialization. So anticipatory socialization, that is where the company acts as a role model or mentorship in order to assist the new hire candidate And then encounter, that is where, when we say encounter socialization, that is where now they take you through the company. They show you the work. They show you what you are going to do on the work. They show you the responsibility that you need to fill in the work, in the job. They show you the offices. And then, oh, sorry guys, I misinterpret this one. Anticipatory organization, socialization. That is where you are meeting with the company manager. You are meeting, this is the initial steps where you are going to meet with the company manager before getting into the organization. Right. On the encounter, that is when now the manager is the relationship between the manager and the new hire, and then the manager here is trying to assist the new candidate by clarifying what kind of stresses, what kind of situation that the candidate is going to face here. That is or issues that they might experience in the job. That is where the manager is trying to clarify what stresses the candidate is going to get on that job, and what issues the candidate might experience in the job. Right. So moving to the settling in now, that is when the employee feel comfortable about doing job in the organization. Here, settling in, that is where now you have done to see the organization, to see people that you are going to work with, to see the stresses that you are going to face in the work. And then now here you are obviously being settled. That means you are working. Yeah. Now you are working as the what? As the employee in the organization. That means now you are comfortable with the job, and you wish your supervisors to evaluate your job or to reward your job, and you need the career development. Now you try to need in the organization to be developed. That's the setting in. You are fine now with your job. You are fine with the system that you are working with. You know the culture of the company. You know everything about the company. That is the settling in socialization. And then here, choices. of socialization. Choices of socialization. So this is my method, guys. I just wrote on my own. I said in order to know all those 10 choices of socialization, I said I'm going to say I have S, 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 and then I, and then TV. Choice number 1, I said it will be series versus disjunctive organization, and then I said here it will be a staccato versus one time. Series organization, that is where the company or the manager or the organization is trying to be the role model, is trying to act as the mentor in order to assist a new hire. And then disjunctive, that is where they just leave the candidate alone, sitting in her office or his office, and try to learn, observe what are they doing in the company. What actually this means disjunctive, the new hire is learning by herself or himself, is observing, is learning by observation, right? What are the costumes that this company wear? What are the tools that this company wear? What are the social interaction? How do we communicate? How do we socialize in this organization? This is the disjunctive. And then staccato and one time socialization. Staccato, this is where they just give you in the organization admitting, and then one time this is where they just give you like mentors. Do you know mentors, right? Mentor, those people who are mentoring you in the organization. That means they give you piece of information by mentoring you little by little up until you know what is needed in the company. That means staccato, they use mentoring program in order to teach you about the company. Here one time, that is where they just give you information that you must read by yourself. Maybe the contracts, maybe the policies, they don't have time to tell you what do you need to do in the company. This is where they give you a bunch of information that you must try to access by yourself. And then here we said S stands for sequential versus random. So we said sequential random, that is where you follow certain kind of steps in the organization. Maybe let's say you know what exactly you are going to do here. Sequences, sequential versus random. That means here you got the ambiguous steps in the organization. That means you don't know exactly what you need to do in the job here. How are you going to wear? That means here random socialization. You are being confused what you are going to do on your job, right? So we move to the triple I, number 4, which is the informally versus formally. Number 5, which is the in virtue versus this virtue. Number 6, let me remember this one, individually versus collective. individual, and then tournament. Number 7, tournament versus context. Number 8, fixed versus versus, let me remember, variable. This is V, fixed versus variable. Informally versus formally. Socialization, you know, I hope you know it. It is very clear that in the organization, that is where formally socialization, that is where you meet with your managers, supervisors, those people you are going to report to. Informal socialization, that is where you are going to meet with your colleagues that you are going to work with, people who have the same skills in the job that you are doing with you. That means those are your colleagues, people who are at the same level with your job. Informal socialization. And then in virtue and disvirtuous. In virtues, it means here in ventures, they see your efforts in the organization and they reward you in the organization. They see that you are working very hard in the organization and they give you a reward. And then now here, this venture, I can't call it very well, but this venture, it's say, yeah, they don't realize that you are inside the organization. That means here, this candidate is just a poor performance candidate. You don't do your work. You are always making turnovers. You are always making issues. That means they don't see your presence in the organization. Right, individual versus collective organization. That is where you are working with. You are socializing by working alone, or you are socializing by working with the groups. Right, so tournament and contest. Tournament, that is where you are competing with the other groups in the company. Right, and then context, that is where now you are work. Let's say at the NMU we are competing for one reward. All of the students in the NMU context is competing for one reward. All people they are trying to do, or maybe let's say they try to do what, maybe let's say here at NMU they need people who can do marketing. So everyone at schools, or every student is required to apply, or is being allowed to apply. That means it is the bunch of students that is going to compete for one reward. Or maybe let's say in the organization they are going to give 50K for a high performer for solving a certain problem in the organization. So context, it means those people who are working in the organization, they are going to fight for this 50K, and then the winner is only one winner is going to get this 50K. But here on the tournament, only one group is going to get a reward. Here they divide in the company into groups. Here they just make a collective of people in the company to work together in order to achieve a certain goal. That means they are going to choose they are going to choose a high performer, or someone who have done to solve this kind of issue. And then we have the fixed and the variable. And then here socialization, this is where they are going to tell you that your contract is ending. Fixed. And then variable, this is the first steps where you come in the organization and you accept the job offers, and then now you need to wait and then for them to tell you when your contract is going to be ended. Right, this is the variable, this is the fixed, that is the exactly date they are telling you that your contract is over, either they're going to extend it or not. Right, so let us move to turnover. Right, let us move to turnover with okay, turnover. With the voluntary, involuntary, versus voluntary turnover, with functionally versus dysfunctionally turnover. Number 3, with avoidable versus unavoidable turnover. That means here people they just leave the organization. Turnover, it means people they just leave in the organization for a certain reason. And then we have said there's a voluntary turnover. Here maybe let's say you don't like the organization and then you are a high performer and then you can just choose to leave the company. This is the voluntary turnover. And then the involuntary turnover. The involuntary turnover, that is where you don't choose to do what? To leave the company. That is where maybe you have done something that is a misconduct. You have just break the law in the company. You have just break the ethically law in the company. That means they are going to fire you. Or yeah, you have break a certain law, or they're just going to give you a certain what? A certain warning, right? So, and then we said there's a functionally and dysfunctionally. Functionally turnover, functionally turnover, that is where they're just hiring you. Like they are just hiring because you are a bad performer in the organization. There is no change that you bring in the organization. There is low performance that you do. You always are being absent in the organization. You always got drunk in the organization. They just hire you definitely here because of your bad behaviors, of your bad of your bad performance. And then here, now this is where dysfunctionality. This is where you see there's a voluntary right. Employee, high performer employee choose to leave the company, and then dysfunctionality. It say here, this is the willingness of the company to keep those high performers to not leave the organization. They are willing to keep the high performer to not leave the organization. This is we can say that is the disorder over this one. The high qualities performance employee, they leave the organization, but the company is wishing to keep them. That is the dysfunctionally turnover, right? And then there's the avoidable turnover, and then there's unavoidable turnover. Maybe here we say you've just break a certain law. Maybe you just rape in the organization, or you just abuse in the organization, physically, sexual abuse, or you just break a certain law. This is the unavoidable turnover. That means compulsory, they need to fire you in the organization. Avoidable, maybe let's say you always get drunk, but you can avoid being not dishired or dismissed in the organization. Being fired, you can avoid not being fired. This is the avoidable turnover. Maybe let's say you are a poor performer, you can try to find assistant in the organization. You can try to do a career development need in the organization. You can try to find mentors to assist you in order for you to be a high performer. That means it is the avoidable turnover. You can avoid these things in order for you not being hired in the organization. Right. So, I think we are done. This is what we need to know, and then you need to know socialization effectively, socializing effectively, and then you need to know the causes of what? Of turnover.